Have you ever picked up an old penny and wondered if it could secretly be worth a fortune? What if I told you that the 1941 wheat penny lying somewhere in your old collection or piggy bank could actually turn the tables for you? Yes, this humble copper coin that many overlook might hold surprising value today. So after this intro, if you have this coin, stick around until the end of the video because I'll reveal how much it's worth according to eBay, online platforms, and live auctions, and how you can sell it for top dollar. The 1941 wheat penny is one of those fascinating pieces of American history that blends art, craftsmanship, and storytelling into a single coin. Minted during a time when the world was on the brink of global war, this penny represents the strength and determination of a nation preparing for change. It's more than just 1 cent. It's a witness to the events leading up to World War II and a symbol of resilience for millions of Americans. The design of the 1941 wheat penny comes from Victor David Brenner, whose iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the cent in 1909. The obverse side of the coin features Lincoln's right-facing bust with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1941 on the reverse. 2 wheat stalks curve gracefully along the sides, framing 1 cent United States of America. And the Latin phrase e pluribus unum. The wheat stalks symbolize the country's agricultural foundation and prosperity, an image that resonated deeply during those uncertain times. This penny was produced at 3 major U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark. The Denver ones display AD, and the San Francisco issues show an S under the date. Together they accounted for hundreds of millions of coins struck that year. But despite the large production, certain varieties and high-grade examples have become valuable collectibles. Today, each 1941 wheat penny was made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19 millimeters. These coins often have a rich brown or reddish color that collectors describe as red-brown, or brown, depending on how well they've aged. Those that still have their original red luster are the ones that bring the highest premiums on the market. Now let's talk about what makes the 1941 wheat penny stand out among other Lincoln cents. While it may not be the rarest penny ever made, it's highly collectible because it marks the final calm before the storm. Just 1 year before the U.S. entered World War II, this means it represents a key moment in American history, and that adds emotional and historical value to it beyond its metal content. On eBay and other major coin trading platforms, the 1941 wheat penny can be found in different price ranges depending on its condition and rarity. Circulated examples generally. If you have a 1988 Liberty Jefferson nickel lying around, this video might just turn the tables for you. What looks like an ordinary 5-cent coin sitting in your drawer could actually be worth far more than you imagine. Collectors on eBay and major coin auction platforms are paying surprising amounts for certain 1988 Jefferson nickels, especially those with rare minting errors or in pristine condition. Stick around till the end of this video because I'll reveal what these coins are selling for right now, how you can identify the valuable ones, and how you can sell them for top dollar. The 1988 Jefferson nickel carries more history than most people realize. It represents one of the last phases of classic nickel minting before the 1990s, a period when U.S. coinage technology was evolving rapidly. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel. Schlag's design features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse. The reverse showcases his Virginia home, Monticello, a symbol of architecture and intellect that defined Jefferson's legacy. By 1988, this design had already been in use for half a century. Yet it remained one of the most circulated and recognizable coins in American currency. What makes the 1988 edition fascinating is that it sits right before several major design modifications and die changes that occurred in the early 1990s. That means certain varieties from 1988, especially those struck with worn dies or transitional errors, are now considered rare collectibles. The 1988 Jefferson nickel was struck at 3 mints. Philadelphia no mint mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were circulation strikes, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins specifically for collectors. The majority were made of the standard copper-nickel composition, containing 75% copper and 25% nickel. However, it's not the metal value that makes them special, it's the details, errors, and condition. Many collectors search for 1988 Jefferson nickels with full steps on Monticello. Full steps refers to the sharp lines visible on the steps of the building on the reverse side. A coin with clear full steps means it was struck with fresh dies and minimal wear, which greatly increases its value on eBay and auction houses. 1988 Jefferson nickels with full steps have sold for hundreds of dollars, with some reaching over $1,000 depending on grade and mint mark. But that's not all. Error coins from this year are particularly valuable. Double die obverse coins, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets are among the most sought after. In some cases, a 1988 Jefferson nickel with a strong double die on the word Liberty or the year itself has been listed for thousands online. Collectors are always hunting for unique errors that tell a story of the minting process, and 1988 provided a few remarkable examples.
1949 Wheat Lincoln penny. Lying around, this small copper coin might just turn the tables for you. Yes, you heard that right. What may look like an ordinary penny could actually be worth a surprising amount of money today. So, stick around until the end of the video because I'll tell you exactly what this coin is worth, according to eBay, auction sites, and other online platforms, and how you can find out if yours is valuable. And at the end, I'll also tell you how you can learn its exact value and selling procedure. So stay tuned. The 1949 Wheat Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a piece of American resilience, artistry, and post-war rebirth. Struck just a few years after World War II ended, it represents a period when the United States was rebuilding its economy, its industries, and its spirit. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had already become one of America's most iconic coins. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin's obverse features the timeless portrait of Lincoln himself, symbolizing honesty, strength, and unity. The reverse design, featuring 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent, served as a simple but powerful reminder of America's agricultural roots and hard-working nature. By 1949, the U.S. Mint had already resumed normal coin production after the disruptions caused by the war. Copper, which had been in high demand for ammunition and military supplies, was once again freely available, and the familiar reddish tone of the Lincoln wheat penny returned in full. The coin was struck in 3 locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small d below the date, and San Francisco with an S mint mark. Each of these mints produced millions of pennies, yet not all of them were struck equally. Coins from Denver and San Francisco, especially those in high mint state conditions, are the ones that attract collectors' attention today. The composition of the 1949 wheat penny remained 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a formula that gives it that warm reddish-brown tone that collectors prize. Over time, the appearance of these coins has changed depending on how they were stored. Some have turned deep brown, while others still retain their original red brilliance. Collectors often pay significantly more for coins that have preserved their red color, especially when graded mint state 65 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. What makes the 1949 Lincoln penny truly fascinating is how it reflects America's post-war optimism. The country was booming again, jobs were returning, and families were settling into a new era of peace and prosperity. Even a penny had value. It could buy a stick of gum, a piece of candy, or a newspaper. Millions of Americans use these coins in their everyday lives, unknowingly passing through their hands a small relic of history. 1991 Jefferson nickel lying in your pocket, change or hidden inside an old drawer. Don't spend it just yet. This ordinary-looking 5-cent coin could actually turn the tables for you in a way you never imagined. Some collectors on eBay and major auction platforms have been paying surprising amounts for rare 1991 nickels, especially those with specific minting errors or pristine conditions. So stick around till the end of this video, because I'll reveal exactly how much these coins are worth and how you can sell them for the best price possible. The 1991 Jefferson nickel is part of a long-standing American coin series that started in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag. It features the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his famous Monticello home on the back. Even though by 1991, the nickel's design had been in use for over 5 decades, it still remained a cornerstone of American pocket change and a favorite among collectors. The coin was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, marked by no mint mark for Philadelphia and a D mint mark for Denver. Combined, both mints produced hundreds of millions of nickels that year, meaning that while many are common, certain variations and high-quality strikes are where real value begins to show. According to current data from eBay and other online platforms, most circulated 1991 Jefferson nickels are worth between 10 and 25 cents, depending on condition. However, when these coins appear in high-grade uncirculated condition, especially those certified by NGC or PCGS, prices rise significantly. A 1991 D Jefferson nickel graded MS65 can easily sell for $20 to $40, while MS66 examples sometimes reach $75 or more. The real excitement, however, lies in the full steps category. A 1991 nickel with sharply defined full steps on the Monticello building, meaning the steps are fully visible and unbroken, is an absolute gem. Collectors pay high premiums for these, and examples graded MS67 full steps have sold for over $400 in recent auctions. Heritage auctions and great collections have recorded sales in the range of $250 to $500 for top-tier full steps nickels, proving how quality and detail can completely change a coin's market value. Error coins from 1991 are another reason this nickel has gained attention among collectors. Some have been discovered with off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, or broad strikes, and these can bring impressive amounts online. eBay sellers have listed such error coins for $100 to $300, and authenticated examples have reached up to $500 depending on rarity and eye appeal. Even minor die rotations or clipped blankets from this year can make an otherwise ordinary coin worth real money. Proof coins from 1991 struck at the San Francisco Mint and bearing the S mark are another category to watch. These were specially made for collectors, featuring the 1937 wheat penny belongs to the legendary Lincoln Wheat Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin replaced the Indian head cent and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, the beloved 16th President of the United States. Lincoln's profile on the obverse quickly became a symbol of honor, humility, and leadership. On the reverse, 2 simple wheat ears framed the words, "One cent," a tribute to America's agricultural roots and resilience. Now, by 1937, America was slowly rising from the depths of the Great Depression. Factories were reopening, jobs were returning, and coins like the wheat penny symbolized the slow but steady rebirth of economic confidence. Every cent mattered, quite literally. A single penny could buy a newspaper, a stick of gum, or even a piece of candy. To millions of Americans, this small copper coin was a sign of hope and daily survival. The 1937 wheat penny was struck at 3 U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a small D; and San Francisco, marked with an S together. They produced over 300 million coins that year, yet not all pennies were created equal. While the Philadelphia mint produced the majority, the San Francisco and Denver issues were struck in smaller numbers, making high-grade examples from those mints more desirable among collectors today. Each 1937 wheat penny was made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that warm, reddish-brown color that collectors love. Over time, depending on circulation and exposure, The tone of the metal would change. Some coins turned chocolate brown, others deep red, and a rare few retained their original bright red luster, which now fetches high prices at auctions. From a design standpoint, the 1937 penny perfectly captures Victor Brenner's artistry. The obverse features Lincoln's detailed portrait, with the words "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1937 on the right. The reverse carries the phrase "E pluribus unum" at the top, 1 cent boldly in the center, and "United States of America" below, framed by two wheat stalks bending inward, a quiet yet powerful symbol of prosperity and unity. What makes the 1937 wheat penny especially interesting is that it represents one of the last years before America entered World War II and before the U.S. Mint had to make drastic changes to coin materials. During the war years, metal shortages led to the creation of steel pennies in 1943. That makes coins like the 1937 cent one of the last true copper-era issues, solid, heavy, and full of old-world craftsmanship. But the 1937 wheat penny also has its share of mysteries and variations. Some rare minting errors have been discovered, such as double die.
Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1990 Jefferson nickel, a coin that quietly carries decades of American history, innovation, and subtle mystery within its small circular frame. You might have one sitting in your coin jar right now, but what if I told you that this 5-cent piece represents far more than pocket change? It's a symbol of a nation's evolution, craftsmanship, and heritage. The Jefferson nickel series began its legendary journey back in 1938, when the U.S. Mint decided to replace the Buffalo nickel. America wanted a new coin design that reflected its intellectual and cultural roots. To find that perfect design, the Mint announced a public competition. Out of more than 390 entries, one design stood out: the elegant and dignified work of Felix Schlag, a German-born sculptor who captured not just Thomas Jefferson's likeness, but his spirit. Schlag's design featured Jefferson's left-facing profile on the obverse, showing the founding father with calm intelligence and quiet strength. The reverse displayed Monticello, Jefferson's self-designed home in Virginia. Monticello wasn't just a residence, it was a reflection of Jefferson's genius, blending classical European architecture with American ideals of liberty, innovation, and independence. This pairing, Jefferson and Monticello, would define the nickel for generations to come. Now, fast forward to 1990. The Cold War was coming to an end. Technology was advancing faster than ever, and America was stepping confidently into a new era. Through all this change, the Jefferson nickel remained steadfast, a reminder of tradition in a world racing toward modernization. The 1990 Jefferson nickel became part of the last stretch of the classic era of this coin, before subtle design and production changes began in the 2000s. The 1990 Jefferson nickel was minted in two major facilities: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, and Denver, D. Both Mints produced millions of these coins for everyday use, ensuring the Jefferson nickel continued to circulate widely across the nation. In addition, the San Francisco Mint S struck proof versions exclusively. For collectors, these were coins made with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, giving them a beautiful mirror-like finish. Each 1990 Jefferson nickel was composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a combination chosen for durability and resistance to corrosion. Weighing 5 grams and measuring 21.2 millimeters, this small coin was engineered for longevity. Its metallic blend gave it that familiar silvery sheen, one that could survive decades of circulation without losing its charm. One fascinating detail about 1990 nickels is that they mark a period of high-quality minting consistency. Yet even in such controlled environments, mint errors still occurred. And these are where collectors' hearts race. There are reports of off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and double die obverses.